Vibe Show 97.9. Happy Friday to everybody. Happy Friday, man. Wow, we in the middle of a tropical storm. Yeah, it's been crazy today. It's been really crazy. We got storm, yet another storm coming. I think they're going for a world record, man, with these hurricanes, man. I don't know. I just work here, man, and I just don't know. But what I do know is, listen, if you got a side piece, man, or you cheating on your man or you cheating on your woman, now is a good time to just completely stop and shut it down. I'm telling you. I have a guest. Matter of fact, please give a warm welcome to my guest, founder and owner of K and Associates Investigators. Man, listen, I'm telling you, stop right now. The one and only Andy K.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Man, listen, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I'm like super excited to dive into this right here. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me after this one right here, man. I don't care. It's necessary, my brother.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yes, absolutely. And we want to apologize about that last time, man. We supposed to have you on here, and man, we had all type of crazy stuff going on, but we finally got it right now this time. And me and the Vibe team, eSource and Plug Star, man, we just want to thank you again. This is an amazing opportunity. Now, this was gonna be a good one, man. I'm gonna help a lot of people out with this one, and a lot of people, like I say, a lot of people gonna be upset with me. But don't stop cheating. You know what I'm saying? Stop cheating and do people right. Now, man, the private investigator world, I tell you, it's very interesting what you do. You know, you do a lot. I would like to kind of get the backstory before we kind of dive. I would like to get the backstory of like you, because I know you don't just wake up one day and say, "Hey, you know what? My dream is to be a private investigator." Can we get the backstory of how you actually got into this line of business?
Yeah, absolutely. I started out right out of college and working with law enforcement, and one of my supervisors there knew that my politics didn't really agree with the job. So as soon as he retired, he wanted me to go to the next private enterprise that he went to. So I went there. I accepted the job there, made a lot more money, and my immediate supervisor there was an ex-FBI agent. And we got along really well. He liked me a lot. So when he retired from that position, he offered me an opportunity to go in with him and start an investigations company. And now I'm still a private investigator, and he's a senator.
Wow. Wow. So now I got some fan questions too. Some fan questions. You know, a lot of us, well, I'm gonna say me, you know, but a lot of us too, you know, we when we think about private investigators, we think about Magnum PI. You know, is that along the lines? Because Magnum made it cool now. Magnum made it cool to be a private investigator. I wanted to be Magnum.
I want to be Magnum.
Everything. Magnum had the best cars, house, money, girls. I mean, Magnum.
Buddies with helicopters. He had all the cool shit. Yeah.
Was it something like what, kind of like what we saw? We even though it's TV, was any of it kind of like what you do right now?
You know, we don't get to shoot as many people as he did. He's always had more excitement. There's always, you know, romantic ties into everybody he ever was involved with. You know, we don't get all that now. It's fun. It's great. I love my job. I've got other business interests, and this is where my focus is. This is what I love to do. So I love it, but it's not like, you know, Rockford Files and, you know, Magnum PI and all the rest. You know, that would get a little too hectic. Not to mention, none of those guys made any money usually,
Right.
They all lived on trailers somewhere and stuff.
You're right about that too, man. It never was a big payoff or anything like that. They're like, okay, so what's the catch? Like, are you just doing it for the passion of it?
Yeah, they always had a friend or an old girlfriend that came back into their life and had some drama with some, international drug kingpin or something.
Yeah, they got man, you know what? You are right, man. It always was something, the girl comes along, you're right, the beautiful, gorgeous ex, and her husband is in this he's having dealings with like the mob boss.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are right about that.
And after he solves everything and almost gets killed 25 times, she gets on a plane to somewhere else,
Yeah.
So the next episode could come along with an old friend that, was a military buddy that's being hunted down by something. Yeah, it's always something like that.
Right, man. That brings back so many different memories. Now, your days gotta be challenging, man. Like, just every day's gotta be a new mystery, man, or something. Like, how do it work as far as like, because I know you deal with a lot of high profile cases. Do you deal with the little people as well, or it has to be a certain standard?
No, we deal with a lot of cases where you call little people the normal people. We're in LA, so obviously I've been here for almost 30 years, so I get a lot of as people know me and trust me, I got a lot of word of mouth amongst certain groups and celebrity groups and people like that. But, it's not that often people need to have a private investigator. So we work for pretty much anybody that has a specific need of information. That's just the way it is. But we do a lot of celebrity and high profile work for sure, more than our share.
Right. And what's interesting, I like this quote here. You said, we help guide you even down to the details of how to properly conduct yourself on social media while going through a custody battle. Now, you guys deal with child custody cases, working with law teams, considering asset protection, background checks for families with nannies or in-home help, reading signs of infidelity, similar cases to review, good investigate. Okay, so like, can you kind of like explain, because that's a series of things.
Yeah, that's a partial series. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're full service investigations firm. Most of my guys, I have a lot of ex-law enforcement, and I have a lot of guys that come from very specific backgrounds. We do a lot of things that have to do with investment and brokerage. And so I've got a couple guys that come from the brokerage world. Right. And we also have other people that come from, accident recreation. I've got ex-highway patrolmen. We've got a lot of people in the entertainment industry, obviously, with different parts that help us a lot with a lot of our clients. So we work. One of the reasons we get a lot of the work is because we have a lot of specialization.
Right. Now let me ask you this. I gotta ask you this because I'm looking at the background as I expanded the screen. Is that a snowman or is that a bear? A bear back there?
It is an albino werewolf, I think is what the proper term is for it.
Wow, man. Look, that's life size, right?
That's life size. Yeah, it's getting close to Halloween,
Okay. I was gonna say, man, that's got to be scary right there at night, man, coming down.
Yeah, everything's just getting set up around here right now, so we have a lot going on.
Right now, in this field, like, what would you say would be the most high profile case that you've ever landed?
Oh, I've had several high profile cases. When Michael Jackson had his demise and the overdose, part of it was looking into some of the background and finding the doctor immediately thereafter in Nevada when he was over in that side of the world. I've worked on, as far as high profile, I don't think many people get more high profile than Michael. Right. But there's been periphery where I was in on a lot of different things. It's hard to talk about a lot of my clients, obviously.
Right.
Because most of the time when I work for somebody and the other people don't even know I was there.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things we really try to be good at. You'll see a lot of these shows where at the end they, jump out and ambush, the opposing party, it's like, oh, we've got all the dirt on you. We got this, you're a cheater, you're that, whatever. And almost never happens with us. And it would be very, very rare that anything like that would happen with us.
Right. Now that strikes my next question too, because I was going to ask you that how real was that show, because I was going to ask you, like, you guys don't jump out with the cameras like, hey, look, we got you. You know what I mean?
Never. No, as most of the shows, they screen their clients and they pick up things, it's very sensationalized. So, those kind of things happen in those shows. And it's a lot of times they pick clients that are, couldn't really afford private investigators any other way. Right. And so those people are more than happy to just like, look, I'm going to find out what he's really doing. I'll go ahead and do this with them and let them film the whole thing. So, yeah, it's a much different world when we're on an investigation.
Got you. Now, with finance cases, and spouses trying to possibly maybe hide money or maybe in offshore accounts or anything like that or whatever. Yeah. How difficult are those cases, and what's the process with solving tracking money like that?
Those cases can be very involved and very, very hard. Cooperation from a lot of countries is hard, even on criminal matters. If it's the FBI, the DEA, IRS looking for the money, they have to jump through a lot of hoops with many countries to be able to get those assets or even locate them there. What we usually try to do is we use our auditors or our forensic accountants that we have here, and we'll go through and try to find where the money went or where it originated from originally to end up in those places. So once we get a trail, we can usually get it, and through subpoena power and things like that, we usually find it. Or, in civil court, it's much different than criminal court. So we just have to have a preponderance of the evidence. It doesn't have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So in civil court, a judge can look at the trail and say, okay, now I think you've done this and this, and they can make their decision based on what everybody believes happened, even if we don't get to the actual dollar.
Okay. Man, sounds real technical, man.
There's parts of it that are pretty technical.
Right. Now, it's to me, and I would like to get an expert opinion on this, because, you are an expert. You've been doing this for years. I just would like to get your perspective on this. Now, the mentality of cheating, do you think that because maybe from a greed spirit, or because like you want what you have, but then you want more? Like, what would you say, just theoretically?
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and I've seen so many. It varies. There's so many different reasons people cheat. A lot of it is they get with a person and they don't want to even trust that person enough with their own feelings that they, it's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to, try this strange thing or whatever. Yeah, right. And even though it might be normal for 90% of the people in that little place, it might be something, that everybody thinks is out of bounds, and maybe the communication has never gotten there, or one or the other of the people said, that's not something I'd ever do. And, they go out and do it that way. Now, I know there's been many occasions where I've seen, hey, the guy just, and it's a cultural thing, especially, it's like, that's the mom of my children. I don't want her to be this. You know what I mean? Right. But I want to have that too. So they're out there chasing the strange so they can, get that piece that they don't want their wife to be, so they don't ever plan on getting caught or losing the wife. And, the wife in a lot of those cases, it's like, well, why didn't you ask me to do? I want to do that. What the hell's wrong with you? Right. But the communication again, communication's a big thing. Communication and trust. If you don't have that to start with in your relationship, you better figure that out, or you're going to end up calling me. Right. And that's on both sides.
Right. I was going to ask you too, like, percentage wise, I'm pretty sure that the men is in the lead as far as, being the ones that's doing the most cheating.
No, not really. It seems like it because we get more calls from women, but women tend to be better at it. They cover their tracks more. They're not so much creatures of habit where they have to keep doing it. So
Right.
they're harder to catch. They don't, they'll step out here or just then, and it's like, I'm done with that one and I'm back home now.
Right.
Or they plan things. They don't leave a trail like men do. Men don't think they're going to get caught a lot of time. But I will say that when a woman thinks that her husband's cheating, statistically, she's right, almost double what men are.
So now does the saying that can we put some truth on this? When you accusing somebody else of cheating, 9 times out of 10, you got some dirt in your file too. Can you put something on that?
We see it happen. It's not, I don't know if it's 9 times out of 10, but if he comes to you and says, "Oh, I think you're doing this, blah, blah, blah," and you have never even thought about it, he's just way out of the ballpark, I would start thinking about what he's doing for sure. And I think men play that game a lot more than women too, because that's really showing your hand right there.
Right. Okay, cool. Now, with the background check then, because I'm sure well, let's back up a little bit. Now, let's just say, just the steps of somebody, contacting you. So what is it like? Hey, Andy, I want to hire you. I think that my husband or my wife is cheating. How does that work?
Well, usually, I'll ask what's going on. Why do you think that? Do you know who the other person is? What job are they in? So I can get some kind of a feel of how they're trying to work it. If he's got a certain job and she thinks it's somebody at work, then I get a better idea of what the investigation is going to entail and what the overall retainers are going to be. So I try to put together as much information right out of the gate and, see why they even believe that. And then we'll get a retainer and we'll go forward, whether it's surveillance, whether it's, maybe she has a phone that she thinks that there's texts and stuff in and brings to us, because she thinks he was communicating with their phone or their computer or whatever. And we can do a lot of digital forensics that way and see if it's actually a fact, pull up deleted stuff, things like that. So there's a lot of different ways I decide to go once I have the communication with her.
Okay. Now, fan question here. They want to know, with you being a specialist at what you do, would you consider yourself a specialist at getting away with things, maybe on your spouse?
Well, on my spouse, no, that's impossible, because she also works doing investigations for the company.
Oh, Lord. No, don't do it.
So yeah, that would be a bad move. And not only that, we actually do have a lot of trust. She's got access to my phone all the time. I've got access to hers, although I don't even know when the last time I saw it was. Right. She's usually on it. So no, there's not really. Would I be good at it if I wanted to be?
Yeah.
Different situation, different partners. Sure. One of the things that we did do, and I do a lot of, is we work for companies and stuff to find out how to prevent losses. So the best way to prevent the losses is to go out there and see how we can steal their stuff. And so we do that, and with our forensics or digital forensics departments, and we do a lot of preventative work. So we go into companies and their computers and make sure that people can't hack them. And so to do that, we hack them and go from there to fix the hacks. So we're constantly, and with business wise, doing cases like that. And a lot of those cases, I'm the one that designs or thinks about how the overall breach would go through.
Man, that's interesting right there. Now, another thing too, this is a good one. It's a good fan question here. Now, they want to know, have you ever been hired? I guess I'm paraphrasing. Have you ever been hired to, you know how they have those people overseas who create these accounts or whatever, and they build relationships with people. People invest a lot of money into it, and then these be from what it'd be year or 2 year relationships, and then you never could see the person,
right?
Video calls or anything, but they out of 20, 30, $40,000 or whatever invested into these people they've never seen. Have you ever been on anything like that?
A lot of times. Yeah. We call it romance fraud. And, people go on to, all these different sites, and it happens to both men and women. You get these girls that say, oh yeah, I'm trying to get to the United States, and yeah, I want to come there and I want to marry you and we'll have a life together, but I need this money because the guy that's controlling this at immigration here needs, $2,000 before he'll let me leave, all those kind of things. And people fall for it. And, I've had very educated people, lawyers, doctors, you name it, that have fallen for these different types of romance scams. And one of the things that hooks people a lot of times is they won't outwardly ask for money. They'll just say, well, I'm waiting here. I've got this whole crew. I've got to try to make payroll. My banking got hung up on a check that got delivered on this job I'm on. I had a guy that was supposedly an architect, and he's over in Thailand. And, she just naturally says, well, what do you need? I'll send it to you.
Right.
And, he's like, I need $26,000 to cover this payroll. And if you can send me 14 more, that'll get me through the next one. And then I'll be sure I've got it. And then the next thing she never hears from him again.
Right.
So, well, it's like he never asked me. It was my idea. No, it wasn't your idea. He made you think it was your idea to be a nice person because he knows already you're nice and that you like him and that you want to be with him. That's how they hook you. And then they make you think it's your idea to send them money.
Right. So, I would imagine that things are on super high alert. I know the hackers are going crazy right now. I mean, like with all types of scams, because now what I'm finding is I'm getting a lot of messages on my phone. Hey, we're trying to deliver your package, UPS. Hey, FedEx, you got a package. We came by your house to deliver. Can you click this link? And what's up with that?
Well, a lot of times you click the link and then they've got all the information off your device that they've hacked in. They'll get your IPs, they get everything, and then they start using that information. If, that's just a phishing scam. That's one of the oldest ones in the book. And actually, sometimes we use those to get information on, subjects also. The thing about it, anytime you get something, if you get something from your bank, say your bank's Wells Fargo, you get something from Wells Fargo, you probably already have an app. Log in through your app. Log in through what you normally log in. Never hit a hot link, ever. If somebody sends you something, never use the link back. Always just go to whatever business that they're trying to portray, because it's super easy to create a screen that looks exactly like the banks. They can do it in minutes. So, or any other entity, UPS, Amazon, you name it. Never go from that email backwards.
Is it almost because I've had a situation. Why is it so difficult for the hackers to get busted? Because I've had a situation to where I've got information from my bank where my card was put on hold because somebody was getting gas with my bank card and way in Florida.
Yeah. And it was probably scanned someplace. You probably went and got gas in whatever city you were in at the time. You got gas. They read all of your information. It was sold all over the internet, and everybody's using dummy cards with all that information all over the place. Right. That's one of the ways that they make money. So they're not actually using that. They're selling that information to other people. And there's a lot of people on the dark web that are sitting there waiting for information to come. They buy thousands of them at a time.
Man. So is it impossible to catch the hackers? I'm pretty sure it's a special ops team that's trying to catch these people every day, but it's so many of them, right?
Yeah, they do get caught. We had one recently where we actually caught it for a client. She had lost $60,000 worth of credit on her credit card that had been put on there, and it's the same thing. She had one of her employees go down and put gas in her car with a company card, and these guys were actually pretty good because they created different entities, businesses that looked like it was, some Google, looked like Google, blah, 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 but the last 3 digits would be off on the account. And they did the same thing with several delivery services, courier services, and other advertising. So these people are thinking that they're getting charged by legitimately Google and Yelp and all these other companies when actually it's a fake company. So when we go through, we actually carry everything out. We look and we see, and we found out that all these fake entities and businesses, all the IP addresses were, the same. So we were actually able to break it back and find this guy. Found out that 2 of his brothers are already serving time in Northern California for it. And by the time we got through, we were able to put a pretty package on it, work with the detectives from the local police department, and warrants were issued for him. I don't even know for sure that they picked him up yet because it's so recent. But, so we get a lot of those kind of things.
Right. Though it's basically some of them may be fast situations, but some of it might be extensive investigating just to keep trying to catch these people, because I know they keep changing identities and doing all type of stuff.
And they'll be in Nigeria or India or Japan, China, Philippines. Japan's not a good place. They'll get caught there, and they don't treat them well when they get them. But we usually look at it from the beginning. If we can get a hook in, we'll recommend pursuing it. In this particular case, she had not seen the fraud for so long that the bank was like, look, you allowed this to happen for months, so we're not going to pay for it. So the only way she was going to recover it was to go after it that way.
Man, I know that's a hurting feeling right there, man. Like,
absolutely.
Well, I think that and they target people who have a substantial amount of money in their account to where you're not really even watching your account like that.
Business accounts are very susceptible because of that.
Right.
Because you see charges that have those kind of titles and you just don't even look at them twice.
Right. Exactly. Man, there's some horrible people out here, man.
There is.
Have you ever been in a case though? Have you ever been on a case? Did the investigating, did everything that you needed to do or whatever, and found out that the person wasn't cheating?
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories, and I've used it a couple of times in interviews, is we had a woman been married for coming up on 40 years.
Right.
And her husband all of a sudden wasn't where he said he was going to be a few times. And so she calls me crying, and we set up surveillances. And, it ended up where after a week worth of watching him, or 2 weeks, I think, we found out that he was taking dance lessons, ballroom dance lessons.
You serious?
And she had been a dancer. She was a ballroom dancer, and he never learned. So they didn't dance. And, she always wanted to dance with him, but he was the kind of guy that's like, nah, I'm not, I'm too cool for that.
Right.
So he 40th anniversary is coming up, and he's planning on taking her dance. So he learned how to ballroom dance, and that's what he was doing while he was telling her that he's down doing his weekly thing with his buddies at the bar.
Right.
And so it actually turned out to be a good story. And so we had to kind of withhold everything and kind of BS everybody, because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag what's really happening either. So, that's a good one. So that happens. We find it every once in a while.
Right. Now, what's some advice for men and women that could be helpful signs of cheating to look for?
Obviously, when you feel something's wrong, pay attention. Don't start making accusations. Even if you catch little things, don't make accusations. Let them give them enough rope to hang themselves. But, when they start guarding that phone, or all of a sudden your passwords don't work on any of the, anything, or he's, taking an extra hour walking the dog, or sitting in the bathroom for an extra 45 minutes every night, and, guarding his phone, you want to watch for anything that's out of the ordinary. If he usually shows up every night at 6 p.m. and then all of a sudden now every Tuesday night he's not getting home till 8 and there's a weird excuse for it, just watch. Don't get accusatory. Don't start doing things till you find more. And, start, depending on where you take it, if you catch them, start protecting the assets, start protecting things that make sure money's not moving around, things like that too. We also, where we have, basic cheating, we also have, what we call economic cheating and economic infidelity.
Can you define that one for me?
Yeah, we look into making sure that assets haven't been moved, that they're not getting spent on a different person. We've seen everything from houses bought for new love interests to, Porsches and you name it. So you want to make sure that money that's community property stays in the community.
Right. Absolutely. Has anybody ever found out that, you were the one who, got them busted and all of this stuff or whatever, and
Oh yeah.
and they wanted to and they threatened your life, and you had any physical confrontations?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was talking earlier today about an instance where a guy in the courtroom, because he was lying, and we're sitting there with the evidence, and the attorney asked me to bring it up. I bring up the file, and he comes flying out across the courtroom at me.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Wow.
So the bailiffs actually handcuffed him to the chair.
Wow. That okay. For anybody wanting to get into your line of work, is it like an academy, or like how do you get into it?
Most guys come, if they want to start their own companies, they come from law enforcement. In California, you have to have 6,000 hours of direct investigations that you've worked on. So you have to work cases for 6,000 hours. You have to be able to pass a background and a test. So it's not easy to start out. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have been in law enforcement for a long time and they don't make it through the process. The best way is if you can find somebody that'll hire somebody that's not experienced and wants to train them, go find somebody that'll do that. A lot of insurance investigation specialists will do that, and they'll train you a lot of times if they feel like you have an aptitude for it.
Right.
That's probably a way to start if you just want to work in the industry. If you have an outside talent, that a lot about, and have an investigative ability in that field or multiple fields that are associated with it, then you can come to an agency like mine or other bigger ones that will take people that can apply themselves specifically to a field. So they specialize in a certain area and they can be of aid in that. So that's what we look for more than anything else. We hire from a lot of different fields. We do take guys from law enforcement all the time. But a lot of the people we get come from common jobs. Right.
Let me ask you this too, because I know you deal with, you've come from law enforcement. You've pretty sure you've had extensive training. You've been in all different types of situations. I just would like to get your take on mentality of everything that's been going on, like being on the other side as a cop, with all of the techniques, the recent killings and all of this stuff or whatever. I just would really like to get your advice from the other side on why do you think that things are turning out the way that they are right now?
I'll tell you, honestly, I'm going to start it off with blaming bad police work. And I'm a friend of the police. I mean, we work together all the time. We work opposite of each other all the time. Right. We work on police abuse of force cases all the time. I have one guy that specializes in it from law enforcement up. He was IA, and now he's doing it privately. And he's very, very good at it. And, he works pretty much full time for us. Right. So I'm on both sides. Sometimes we're with the cops. Sometimes we're completely against them. But it's very difficult for police departments to get rid of bad policemen. I'm against qualified immunity. I don't think that there's anybody that's above the law, and they should be all held to be both criminally and civilly accountable like everybody else.
Right.
So I would like to see that go. I'm against any public funded employees being unionized. The government protects employees. We don't need unions for them because the unions make it very difficult for departments to remove bad apples. Right. And so then what happens is you have a police department where things are allowed, and then you end up with other cops that would be otherwise good cops and not have those things being part of a system that's roughly corrupt. So the police departments need to be able to easily get rid of problemed officers. There needs to be a database so they can't get fired from one police department and go to the next state and work at the next one.
Right.
So, policemen are mostly great people. They mostly want to do great work. They really are there for the people. Most of the policemen I've dealt with in my career, which has been very long now, right, they want to do the right thing. And the bad ones make it horrible, not just for the people that they encounter that they do the wrong things for, but they also make it bad for all the other policemen that want to do the right thing. So making it easier to get rid of these people is the first thing that we have to do.
Right. So how do you feel about police reform? Like in some of these cities or whatever, they're talking about defunding the police, which I absolutely don't think that would be a great idea to take it to that level. I do agree with what you were just saying. That makes more sense to me than just completely getting rid of law enforcement in communities, period.
Right. And the other thing is we have to think about what law, I mean, do we need to defund them? Maybe we need to defund certain facets of what law enforcement is. Maybe there's a lot of money being spent on certain things that most of the public is not in favor of prosecuting. Right. I mean, you see the legalization of marijuana and now psilocybin and other things. Maybe, and there's a lot of countries in the world where drugs aren't a crime. They are a mental or a public health issue. So maybe that's how we should handle people when they can't handle their substances. I don't know that, we've lost a lot of rights because of this war on drugs. And I've worked in that specifically. I mean, I worked undercover in drug enforcement. Like I said, my politics weren't following that.
Right.
I was very good at it. I just don't necessarily think people's lives should be ruined because they have an issue.
Right.
And then anytime you make something illegal, I don't care what it is, and you have an inanimate object that's illegal, you create a black market for it.
Right.
So all those things just make a greater need for law enforcement. You have more money involved that they have to fight. You have greater weaponry that you have to fight because of those things. And every time that we create a law, we lose a right to something, and it's another thing that we have to investigate. We've done a lot of these, like with specific, one specific high profile case that's out there right now. We had a warrant that probably didn't even need to be a search warrant. It could have probably happened taking that person out, much like the whole Waco thing. We could have had David Koresh arrested while he's walking around town and not had to go through this great big huge standoff or a situation where we don't know who's on the other side of a wall.
Exactly.
So I'm totally not in favor of no knock warrants. And I've seen enough warrants served that, a knock is usually police open up, boom, the door goes flying open. And, if I'm asleep in my house and I'm not doing anything wrong, chances are I'm going to come out armed, and it's going to be a bad situation for one or all of us.
Right.
So I'm not a fan of those things. I would like to see some reform there. I'd also like to see some criminal justice reform on the back end.
Yeah. Right. Ultimately though, with everything though that we've been seeing, man, because it's just been a crazy year. Do you foresee it? Do you foresee it getting any better? Because it just seems like things are getting worse too. 2020 has been since I'm 45 years old, man, and I don't think in all of my years of living have I ever experienced it like this.
I'm older, so in my life, no, you haven't. I think right now, in the interest of good, we're throwing around labels that shouldn't even exist anymore.
Right.
I mean, we both kind of grew up in the same period, and I never thought of anybody as other than they're either my friend or they're a jerk or they're a great guy. I mean, it just wasn't an issue. Right. I mean, and I know it used to be. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I listened to my elders, and there was stuff that came out of their mouth that I couldn't believe.
Right.
And I'm sure you too. And
absolutely. But again, that was before us.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's like somebody's
what we experienced growing up.
Yeah. And, we experienced kind of the tail end of getting through all that crap. And now it's like everybody wants to bring it back up. And I know there's a lot of things that aren't right in the world. I mean, I know it. I mean, not everybody's great, but to try to put everybody under a label, I don't care if it's to make it good. It still divides us. I mean, we're men, we're Americans. That's all we need. Right.
Right.
I mean, we can be friends, we can be enemies, we can be a lot of, bowling partners, we can be a lot of those other things, but when it goes up the chain, that's where it needs to end.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with you on that, man. And I'm definitely praying, for things to get better. You know what I mean? as a country to get better, because it's definitely like a global thing that's going on, man. It's a lot of bad energy out there. And I'm just thankful for people like you, man, the good guys. Because you can't, it's I know it's a lot of things that's bad that's happening or whatever, but you can't, put all people that's on the other side of law enforcement and in the same category.
Yeah,
In the same bunch. I just don't believe in that. I think that they're good people. It's good cops out there. It's good investigators. It's good government people. It's good people out there, along with a lot of bad people as well.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's more good than bad. I think there's more good, even with all the stuff that's happening right now. I think there's more good in the world than there is bad. There's more good in the United States than there is bad. I think that, a lot of small factions are getting a lot of noise right now. Squeaky wheels are getting a lot of grease that they probably don't deserve.
Right.
And all we can do is just all make it at our own levels so that that's not happening with us. And it'll go from there. We'll grow it back to the way it's supposed to be. I believe in collective consciousness. I think when things are going good for everybody, things tend to be more positive all the way across the board.
Man, I agree with you 1,000% on that, man. Definitely. Man, I just wanna can we put your social platforms out there? I know we got it scrolling at the bottom down there or whatever, but people, they be looking, but they don't be paying attention all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Put them all out there. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's see here. Let's see, you got your website. The website is, and let's get that up on the screen as well. The website is www.KYANDASSICIATES.com.
Actually, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
K and Associates. Somebody spelled wrong. That's okay.
Oh my God.
KandAssociates.com.
It's off the screen.
So anyway, it's just KandAssociates.com.
Okay. Instagram, it's KN Investigates.
KA Investigates, yes.
Facebook, we got KN Investigations.
Yes.
Okay. Twitter is Associates K.
Associates K, yes.
Okay. And then of course you guys are on LinkedIn as well. And
Yes.
now the Medium, can you explain that? Is that like another site or something like that?
You know what? I'm not sure. I would have to ask Elizabeth because she handles all of the social media.
Got you. But the main thing to reach you directly, they can just go to the website, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. K and Associates Investigations, or it's just KandAssociates.com.
Right. And it will definitely pull up. Once you typed in some of it, it just automatically popped up on the Google. You guys are heavy in there. Man, I just want to thank you so much, man, and congratulations to all of the success and everything that you've accomplished over your career. I just think that it's great what you've built and where you come from and what you represent. I'm definitely proud of that, man, and honored to have you on the show today. So for me, the Vibe team, the eSource team, Plug Star, I just want to tell you personally, thank you.
And I love being here. It's an honor for me also. And anytime you want to have me back, I'd love to be here.
Listen, we definitely want to have you back on here. We're definitely going to be requesting you to come back on here again, because I think that we really did some justice for a lot of people, man. So all the people that was cheating, had side pieces and different things like that or whatever, man. I've introduced you to the guy that's going to bust you. So, and if your lady was on here or your wife or girlfriend or whatever, now they know who to go to now.
There
So
you go.
it's over with for you, man. Let it go, man. Go ahead and give it the passwords and all.
Turn her loose.
He is going to catch you, buddy. He's going to catch you. Man, listen, man, we love you. Again, we wishing you more blessings and success with everything for you and the company, man. And again, we can't wait to get you back on here. It's the one and only Andy K.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Be blessed and be safe, man.
You too.
All right, my brother. That was my special guest, the one and only Andy K. Man, we were in for. I told y'all was gonna be in for a treat. Y'all gonna start listening to me and believing me. I'm telling you, we bring y'all the most interesting people in the world. Also, listen, if you guys are trying to get connected, hit them up on Instagram, man. I got the Instagram scrolling at the bottom, and y'all also log on to the website and make sure that y'all get connected if you feel like your spouse or your mate is cheating or doing something not right. Andy K and Associates will bust a move and catch them. We love y'all, man. That was our show tonight. It's Friday. COVID is still out there, so I know y'all not gonna be able to go out there and have a good time. Some of y'all just don't care. Be safe, man. Put your mask on, gloves, keep you some sanitizer in your pocket. If you just got to go out there and try to have a good time going against the rules, be safe, man. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. We love y'all. Let me put these things up here too so y'all can go and look. Go log on right now to our official Vibe Show 97.9 website. That's www.thevibeshow979.net. Man, we got more exclusive interviews like this one coming up. If you want to be in touch with all of the latest and keep up with all of the news updates and everything that's going on, log on to that website right now. Also, you can rush over to the mobile app store and download our exclusive Vibe Show 97.9 exclusive mobile app. Yes, baby, we are in the mobile store. You can carry us around with you on your phone 24/7. Anyway, it's Friday. I'm about to get out of here, man. I love y'all. Y'all stay blessed and stay safe. It's the Vibe Show 97.9.